Alrighty, good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Paisley. Want to give you guys a quick update on your house here. Hopefully you guys can still hear me okay. I know they're doing making a lot of noise right now, but I'm gonna try to get you guys through your house real quick. As you can see, as we walked inside the house, we're pretty much still right in the middle of framing here. So let me get to your great room area and hopefully get to a quieter area of the house. All right, so I'm gonna do a quick little pan around the house here. As you can see, we got a ton of wall bracing essentially up right now, so all this stuff eventually goes away once the house gets framed in a little bit more. We're actually going to be hanging trusses tomorrow once the sheathing gets finished and the house is actually rigid enough to be able to take down all these wall braces. It's going to start looking a little bit more like a house on the inside of the house here, but we're about just over halfway through framing here. Again, we're going to be hanging trusses tomorrow. They usually get done with that in one day. So once they get trusses on, they're going to start on the roof decking, and it's probably going to take them 1 to 3 more days to get done with a bulk of the framing. And then essentially I usually allow anywhere from 1 to 3 days for punch work. So that's pretty much what we're looking like. I'm going to go out back here again, hopefully just try to get away from a little bit more of the noise so you guys can hear what I'm saying. All right. Take a look at the back of the house here. All right, so where essentially are we going once we get framing complete, right? So I don't know if JC told you about the inspection processes that we have to go through. So the first thing that we need to get inspected once our framing is essentially complete is the inspector's gonna come out here and actually look at your guys' sheathing. So all this tall wall that you guys see right here that's installed, what they're gonna be looking for is stuff like that little guy right there. We've got a bunch of these straps on the outside of the house. These are called hurricane straps. So here in Georgia, there's seismic and hurricane values essentially out here in coastal Georgia that we have to meet when we're building our houses. So we have to engineer the houses to be able to meet those specific codes, and your house is essentially designed that way per plan. So the inspector is going to come out, verify that all of our nailing patterns are the way that we say they are in our plans, and he's also just going to make sure that we have all the strapping in place that we say in our plans is supposed to be there. We call that with a nailing pattern inspection or a sheathing and strapping inspection. It's usually a pretty good or pretty easy inspection to get through. We typically don't get held up on that usually at all. And then once we get through that inspection, we're essentially going to kind of turn our focus towards the inside of the house. So we're essentially going to start what they call the rough-in phase of the house, where we're starting to get all the utilities and everything added to the house. So pretty neat process. Once we get into the rough end, there's going to be a ton of work going on the inside of the house. We're going to be working on the electrical, the plumbing, your HVAC system, and all that stuff gets done in about a week's time period. So it goes pretty darn quick. And then once we get all the rough end phase of the house done, we're going to get all of that inspected. So that's probably the biggest inspection that your house is going to go through is that rough end inspection, just because there's so much stuff to be looking at in that inspection. So as always, you know, if you guys have any questions about anything that you've seen here today, any questions about what I've talked about or kind of the process or what we're looking forward to over the next few days, feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text or email, and I'll do the best I can to get back to you as soon as I can on Monday. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you on the next update.